If I can speak English, and I'll give you a second just to change the channels. Some people already mentioned that we have an elephant in the room, and this elephant is in the United States. There's no doubt about it. And just today, as it happens, I think the fate of next year's president more or less is sealed. Overwhelming opinion is that it will be Hillary Clinton. Of course, we are in Italy, and Italy is close to Vatican, and sometimes miracles happen. So maybe there will be a miracle. I don't know, but if this miracle doesn't happen, we'll have a new president. And this new president already expressed her opinion about the Eurasian Union, not maybe in this particular shape, but when it originally started, and she said, absolute no. And she said, there is no way we are going to allow this European Union to simply take place. Then she made many other statements. Since she probably will be president, I don't want to misquote, so I just only one quote, and I just to make sure that this is correct. And this is what she said. We are the indispensable nation. People all over the world look to us and follow our lead. When America fails to lead, we leave a vacuum that either causes chaos or other countries or networks rush in to fill the void. Well, this more or less, I think, answers your question. And so now, what we're going to do about it? In Russian philosophy, they have always two questions: who to blame, and then what to do. And usually, people know very well who to blame, and they don't know what to do. So I will try to be very brief on who to blame, and then we'll try to concentrate on what to do, try to have a little positive agenda. It just happens that in 1988, I received unexpected invitation from Gorbachev number 2 man, Alexander Yakovlev. And he invited me and a group of some American experts, what we call, to come to Moscow and discuss how we're going to live now that Soviet Union is turning into a free and democratic nation. Multi-party system, freedom of the press, freedom of travel, all the basic things that democracies enjoy. So I was able to organize maybe like 7, 8, or even maybe 10 different groups, including US members of Congress, scholars, experts, and we had really high-level meetings, including with Mr. Gorbachev. And the message we were getting is that Soviet Union wants to be part of the West. We want to share the same universal human values. Originally, when they started this, no one really believed it was serious, but during one of the talks, question was asked to Mr. Yakovlev, if this is so, why don't you let Eastern Europe go free? And he said, well, if they really want to break up from the Soviet kind of a camp, let them do it. This was pretty unexpected thing to say for number 2 man in the country, and later was confirmed by Gorbachev. So as a result of all those meetings, we prepared a report, and it was personally delivered to President George Bush Sr. One of member of our group was pretty high-level Republican Party operator. You may know his name because he was kind of behind the scenes, but I will tell you his name, Paul Weyrich. Unfortunately, he is no longer with us, but Paul Weyrich had direct access to President Bush, Vice President Quayle, and he used his influence to bring this report to President Bush, who, as already was mentioned here, he declared, as I recall, he said, we want to build a new world, not just from Lisbon or New Europe, from Lisbon to Ural. He said, from Vancouver to Vladivostok. This is what George Bush implied. So we thought that the report, and this report, what we suggested is that we repeat more or less something that we did with Germany and Japan after the end of World War II. Soviet Union was our enemy. It doesn't want to be anymore. So why don't we help Soviet Union to have this smooth transition from communism to democracy, from planned economy to free market economy? For that, they would need tremendous help. But this help will pay off, because if Soviet Union and Russia become our ally, I think that is really a great investment. This forum all about investment. This will be the best investment that we could do. Well, as we know, it didn't turn out this way. And after that, we had 4 Russian presidents: Gorbachev, Yeltsin, Putin, Medvedev, and Putin again. All 4 of them really offered the same thing, that we want to be part of what we call, our first conference in Moscow was called Understanding the Values of Western Civilization. And this is how we thought is going to do. Now, under Gorbachev, we know, and this is a fact, although many people denied, that he was promised by Baker and by Bush himself that NATO will not expand 1 inch east if Soviet Union, Gorbachev allows reunification of Germany. We know that this pledge was broken. Under Yeltsin, Yeltsin was as democratic as you can imagine, because many people who are now in opposition and whose names are mentioned in the West as heroes, they were in the government. So why in this case, instead of Yeltsin, actually he would keep sending messages, we want to even join NATO. Why in this case, under Yeltsin, under the most democratic president you can imagine, NATO started this move of I call it drunk nach Osten. This was a tragic mistake, not only from our opinion, but one of the architects of the Cold War, George Kennan, said it was a tragic mistake, tectonic mistake. I see my time is running out, so I can continue with Medvedev and all the things that were pledged what the things that they wanted to do with the West, and offered all kind of cooperation and support, and etc. All of this was simply in vain. And now we actually, I don't want to scare anyone, but we're on the brink of war, because if Hillary Clinton gets her way and gets no-fly zone in Syria, no one else but Chairman Joint Chief of Staff Joseph Dunford said it's war with Russia. So now, it's a pretty pessimistic view, but then I promised you what to do. And I had a long list, but since I only have 1 minute left, maybe there was a question area. There was a question if Eurasian Union has any offices in Shanghai or Paris or all over. I think what you should do is first to start office in Washington, because going back to my starting point, this is elephant in the room. And according to Mrs. Clinton, Washington decides what's going to happen. And if you really want Eurasian Union to succeed, then you have to clear this with Washington first. Otherwise, I think all this will be just in vain. Thank you.